Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshvari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai. In our last discourse, we read about the glory of Sataksi Devi. We'll go ahead and read on chapter 29 now. Vedavyasa said, O king, thus I have described to you the glory of the Devi. Now I will narrate, as far as I can, the excellent lives of the kings of the solar and the lunar dynasties respectively. They all attained their excellent glory simply because they were favored by the grace of the highest Shakti. They were all the great devotees of the Supreme Mother Mahamaya. All their prowess, bravery, prosperity, and all their glory they know that all are derived from the mere parts of the Para Shakti. O king, those kings and others as well are able to cut off the tree of this world by the acts of their knowledge simply because they are the devotees of the Divine Mother. So with all the care possible, the Lady of the Universe is to be worshipped and served. Men should avoid worshipping any other gods as people avoid the husk to get the grain inside. O king, by churning the ocean of the Vedas, I have got the jewel as the lotus feet of the Para Shakti, and I think that I have discharged all my duties and think myself satisfied and successful. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Ishvara are the 4 feet, and Sadashiva is the plank overhead. Thus these form the seat on which the Devi is seated. There is no other deity superior to her. To show this to the ordinary people, the Mahadevi has taken this seat composed of the 5, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Ishvari, and Sadashiva. Superior to these 5, what is stated in the Vedas as Bhagavatam, and in which all this universe is sown, as it were, crosswise and lengthwise, lying in and through, that is Bhuvaneshwari, the goddess of the universe. No man can be free without the goddess. When men will be able to encircle the akasa of the 4 dimensions as if it were an antelope skin, then they will be able to root out the miseries of this world, which is impossible without knowing the nature of the Devi. Thus the Svetas Bhatt said, those that were engaged in meditation, Dhyan Yoga, they saw the Devi covered by the guna sattvas, rajas, and tamas, and the forces incarnate, respectively, of the several devas. So to make the human birth a success, first avoid all companies, be it out of shame or fear or devotion, or out of love. Then bring the mind and keep it steady in your heart, and then be devoted to her and consider her as the supreme. This is the Vedanta Dindima, the declaration of the Vedanta. Whoever takes the name of the Devi, either in sleeping, going, or resting, or in any other condition, he is certainly freed from the bondage of the world, no doubt, O king. So worship the Maheshwari with all the care that you can. Go on step by step. First worship her Virat Rupa, her cosmic form, then her Sukshma Rupa, her subtle form, and then her Antaryami Rupa, inner form, ruling within. Thus, when your heart is purified, worship the Para Shakti of the nature of Brahma, beyond this Maya, and the Prapranka Ulasa of the nature of existence, intelligence, and bliss. When the Chitta, the heart, melts in the Para Shakti, then comes the real Ardhana, the real worship. So dilute your heart into her. O king, thus I have described to you the sanctifying deeds of this extremely devoted kings of the Para Shakti, who were noble-minded and religious. One who will hear this will acquire fame, dharma, intelligence, good end, and merits that have no equal. Now, what else do you want to hear? King Janamejaya said, O Bhagavan, Vedavyasa. In olden times, the world mother Para Shakti handed over Gauri to Shiva, Lakshmi to Vishnu, and Saraswati to Brahma, born of the lotus from the navel of Vishnu. Now I hear that Gauri is the daughter of the Himalayas as well as of Daksha. Mahalakshmi is the daughter of the milk ocean. They are all originated from the prime Devi. How then Gauri and Lakshmi came into the as daughters of others? O great Muni, this is needed next to cut off all my doubts. So by your acts of knowledge, cut off my present doubts. Vedavyasa said, O king, hear, I am telling you this wonderful secret. You are greatly devoted to the Devi, so nothing there can be that I cannot disclose to you. Since the time of the great mother gave over to Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Gauri, respectively, these three devas were performing their task, preserving and creating and destroying. O king, once on a time, certain demons named Halas were born. In time, they became very powerful and in a short time conquered the three worlds. What more than this, that they, being elated with the boon granted to them by Brahma, took their forces and invaded Mount Kailash and Vaikuntha regions. Seeing this, Mahadeva and Vishnu both prepared for war. A terrible fight ensued between both the parties. For 60,000 years the battle lasted incessantly, but the results was stalemate. Gradually there was a great cry of consternation in the two parties. When Shiva and Vishnu, with their great efforts, finally destroyed the demons, O king, Shiva and Vishnu then returned to their own houses and began to brag of their powers before their own Shaktis, Gauri and Lakshmi, whereas the demons were killed on account of the Shaktis of Gauri and Lakshmi. Seeing them both, Gauri and Lakshmi laughed, not sincerely, whereon the two gods were very much angry. They, under the magic spell of the prime Maya, insulted them and even used offensive languages. Gauri and Lakshmi quitted them and disappeared. A great uproar then arose in the worlds. Both Vishnu and Shiva became lusterless due to their insulting their two Shaktis. They became powerless and unconscious and turned out mad. Seeing this, Brahma became very anxious. Shiva and Vishnu are the two chief deities. How then these two have become unable to perform the actions of the world? What is the cause? Why this calamity has sprung up out of season? Will there be a pralaya, a general dissolution of the world out of some offense when no actions are being done? I know nothing about this. So how can I find a remedy? Being thus very distressed, he began to meditate with his eyes closed in his heart. O king, the lotus-born Brahma then found out by his meditation that this calamity was brought on by the great wrath of the Para Shakti. He then tried to find out the remedy until Shiva and Vishnu did not regain their formal natural position. Brahma began to, by his own Shakti, to carry on the functions of them both, that of preservation and destruction. The religious-minded Brahma quickly called his sons, Manu and Sanaka and others, the rishis, for bringing peace on the two great gods. When they came to him, the great ascetic four-faced Brahma told them, I am now busy with many more works, so I am unable to carry on my tapasya. By the wrath of the highest force, Shiva and Vishnu have become somewhat distracted. So for the satisfaction of the Para Shakti, I am performing the three functions, those of creation, preservation, and destruction. So you both practice this hard tapasya with the greatest devotion and bring about her satisfaction, O my sons. Do such as Vishnu and Shiva gain their former states and then be reunited with their Shaktis respectively. Your fame will be increased thereby, no doubt. Rather, that family where the two Shaktis will take their birth will purify the whole world, and that man himself will be crowned with success. Veda Vyasa said, O king, the pure-hearted Daksha and other mind-born sons of Brahma, hearing the words of the grandsire, expressed their desire to worship the Para Shakti and went to the forest. Here ends the 29th chapter of the 7th book on the birth of Bhagavati in the house of Daksha and the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshvari Mat ki jai, Bule Baba ki jai.